This past Friday, I was in the driver area, the driver waiting area, waiting for our loads to be prepared. And I got to meet one of our newer drivers, very nice man, very enjoyable conversation with him. And he was telling how his daughter had just graduated college up in Chicago, and my daughter had just graduated college up in Chicago, and we were talking about that. And at one point in the conversation, he said, "It's just so strange that these children go to college and they become liberals when they go to college." And if you listen to conservative pundits, they go to college and it's these nasty college teachers that are all flaming liberals that are destroying our children when hearts used to be filled with national pride. Then you came along with these drug crazy songs. I'm sorry. Back from, I think that's Elton John. The problem is, then we go back to the professors and we say, oh, they're the ones, and TAs, they're the ones who are a bunch of liberals probably eating children in their basements and having these satanic rituals, and their only purpose in life is to destroy the lives of our young people. It's some cabal at the university level. And it isn't. These professors just got an education themselves. If we feed our children lies and protect them from obvious truths, then when they leave our homes, they're not stupid. When they are presented with new ideas, they're going to weigh the new ideas, compare them to the old ideas, and say, you know what? The preponderance of evidence does not support what I've been told. And that's the problem. Some of you still remember the old Miracle on 34th Street with Edmund Gwenn. I think it was just a delightful performance. But the actor who played the male romantic lead, I think his character's name was Fred, said at one point to his female romantic lead, he said, "Faith is believing something when common sense tells you not to." Now that is the kind of definition of faith that's going to send your child off to college. He's going to become a nasty liberal. Faith is never trying to force yourself to believe something when you feel the preponderance of evidence is against it. Faith is holding on to a belief that you have decided upon when it's very inconvenient to continue believing it. And there's things like that all the time. That's the way the world works. You think, oh, well, this is the best way to drive a car, but good night. Right now it'd be convenient to really do something else. And so you do something else, and there's a policeman standing next to you. You're in a car crash because you've done the wrong thing one too many times. These children, it's not the professor's fault. It's not the college's fault. It is that we are trying to build these children just as we want them to grow up, to be little caricatures of ourselves, believing what we believe. And that's not the way people work. This child, this child that our issue is their own person. And however intelligent we may be, they're not stupid, and neither are we. But they look at the evidence and they decide for themselves. And right now, the conservatives have no real ideas. The ideas that they do have are negatives. Don't let this happen. Don't let that happen. Don't let this happen. Don't let that happen. Which is Tactically wise to do. If you come up with an idea and you put it forth, your target practice. But if you never say anything or do anything except for negatives, and never have anything to say except for negatives, then who's going to argue with you? A big point for the Republicans right now is inflation is bad. Right. So you can't argue with that, but there's no plan put forth to deal with inflation because that's hard to do. Public policy is hard and often fails, usually has unintended consequences, and but it's the only way to do scalable good for mankind. When our children become liberals, it's because the liberals are working to do something better, and our children are not stupid, and they see that. It's not the professor's fault, and it's not the college's fault.